welcome back for another Mexico Piece by Piece episode. Today we're gonna be taking a stroll through the southernmost state of Mexico, Chiapas. Are you ready for jungle, cascades, beautiful cities, and of course, delicious food? Well, stay tuned! Today we're talking about one of my top 5 favorite states in the country, Chiapas. Its name comes from the Nahuatl words Chia and Apan, which means the Chia Seed River. It is the 10th biggest state in Mexico and the 6th most populated with over 5 million inhabitants. As I already said, is the southernmost state, making frontier with Guatemala. One of the most interesting things that you will find over there is that Spanish is not the only nor the most popular language spoken in the state. There are over 100 different indigenous groups, all of them with different languages. For example, Chol, Tojolabal, Tzetzal, Tzotzil, Quiche, Mam, Lacandon, Chuj, and Zoque might be some of the most common ones, but you will find many others. As for the weather, you will find a generally humid climate, although there are 2 main regions in the state. The highlands, where it is mild, kind of coldish during the winter, and the valley and lowlands, where it's warm and kind of hot during the summer. You already know the drill. We're gonna be talking about Pueblos Mágicos, that government's program where we choose a few Mexican small towns that represent the best our culture and traditions, and we give them a little bit of extra budget so that they can restore, preserve, and promote the local culture. Chiapas has 4 Pueblos Mágicos: San Cristóbal de las Casas, Palenque, Chiapa de Corzo, and Comitán de Domínguez, which was the first declared Pueblo Mágico in Mexico. We're going to be starting with Chiapa de Corzo, which was actually the first city to be established in the Chiapas state. Taking a stroll through downtown, you will see that the dominant architecture is neoclassic and mudéjar. The most emblematic building of this town is the Mudéjar Fountain. You will find it right in the middle of the town, and it's a beautiful construction that resembles the crown of Carlos I. As this is the place where everybody has to have their water from, it was a reminder of the Spanish monarchy. Nowadays it's a beloved and cherished monument. And if you visit San Gregorio's Hill, you will find 2 beautiful neoclassic temples. One of them in ruins, San Sebastián, destroyed by an earthquake long time ago. And right in front of it, you will find San Gregorio's temple, which was constructed to replace the destroyed one. If you visit Chiapa de Corzo during January 8th to 23rd, you will witness one of the biggest parties in Chiapas. There, you will have the chance of witnessing one of the most peculiar, fun, and attractive traditions of the state, the dance of the Parachico. At the beginnings of the 18th century, there was this lady, Doña María de Angulo, that arrived to the city seeking the help of the local healer because her son was gravely ill. The locals disguised themselves with masks, sarapes, and a headpiece called montera to entertain the kid while he was being healed. Para chico means for boy, and it is a tradition passed down generations. In both the mask resembling a Spanish guy, white, blue eyes, dark hair, big beard, and the montera are handmade by the dancers themselves, at least traditionally. And while visiting this charming town, don't miss the opportunity to go visit the national park Cañón del Sumidero, where the Grijalba River runs at the bottom of these 1,000-meter tall walls of this beautiful canyon. There are 2 ways of enjoying it. You can take the highway and visit the 5 different sightseeing points where you can admire the canyon from the top, or you can take the boat tour that will take you to the river all the way to the Christmas tree waterfall, a very exotic and beautiful waterfall made on the side of the canyon. I suggest you take the top first and then the river. That way you will save a lot of money. Just keep the bracelet that they will give you. Next, we are visiting San Cristóbal de las Casas. It is probably one of the most popular magic towns in this country. Walking around in downtown with its beautiful colored houses and tons of aircraft and souvenirs, you will just fall in love with it. But there are so many things to do over there that you will need a little bit more than a couple days. One visit you must make is definitely the Botanical Garden Moshvikil, where about 1,500 different species of orchids and bromeliads are preserved in little greenhouses that resemble the hobbits' homes. There is also a beautiful forest-like eco-park called Rancho Nuevo, where the main attraction is the impressive caves. But you can also find zip lines, horse rides, a very long slide, and many cool stands where you can taste the local flavors. Something that you will find in abundance in San Cristobal is temples. Beautiful and colorful buildings like the Cathedral, Guadalupe's Temple, Santo Domingo's, the Temple and Arch of Del Carmen, Santa Lucia, San Diego, and finally, a very popular place where the Mayan ceremonies meet with the Catholic ones, San Juan Chamula. Now we're moving on to Palenque. One of the biggest and most popular things to visit in Palenque is obviously the archaeological site, which was one of the 4 most important cities back in the day. Its Mayan name was Baac, but when the Spanish came to colonize, it was better known by its Chol name, Otulum, which means land of the strong houses. So the Spanish renamed it as Palenque, which comes from the Catalan word palenc, that means fortification. There are about 2.5 square kilometers of ruins and constructions. As most of it is kept together by the jungle itself, it will be kind of impossible to uncover these buildings without destroying the jungle. So we have decided to keep it like that. Chiapas is nationally known for its textiles and embroidery. Same that you can admire in the Textile Museum Lac Pouj-Coul, a true display of ability and tradition. The Chiapas traditional dress is one of my favorites, and you can admire it in this dance, Las Chiapanecas. The embroidery is so complex and abundant that a dress like this can cost up to 5,000 pesos. Moving on, there are 2 incredible waterfalls that you must visit, Cascada de Agua Azul and Cascada Misolja. Agua Azul means blue water, and this compound of waterfalls created by the convergence of 3 rivers certainly honors its name. You will be able not only to take a photographic tour and swim in the turquoise waters, but also, if you feel a little bit more adventurous, you might have the chance of practicing rafting and diving. On the other hand, Misolja is a 30 meters waterfall where you can swim and practice other eco-friendly activities. There is even a few cabins where you can spend the night on the beautiful jungle of Chiapas. Unless, of course, you are a sci-fi fan and you can recognize this area as one where Predator might show up. This waterfall and the surrounding jungle were one of the many locations of the 1987's movie. And finally, we have Comitán de Domínguez, the first declared magic town in Mexico. We will start the tour of this beautiful town in Barrio de la Pila, the Fonts neighborhood, where the emblematic fountain and San Caralampio's temple will show you the local style. San Caralampio is said to have saved the local community from the plague last century. So I was thinking we might want to light a candle for him so that he can help us with this coronavirus craziness, don't you think? And you might as well want to visit Santo Domingo's temple too. From this town, you have very easy access to several natural and touristical places, like for example, Ecoparque El Chiflón, where you can follow a trail that goes over 700 meters to admire the 4 different waterfalls, the biggest and most famous one being Velo de Novia, the bride's veil. There is another eco-sustainable private project called the Tri Simoleras. If you like extreme sports, you will love this place. You can jump off the 7 meters tall waterfall, rappel down the 45-meter one, or admire the fantastic view on the top of the 75 meters one. As it is a preservation project, the groups are kept small, so you need to make a reservation. Also parting from Comitán, you can go to Lagunas de Montebello, a national park of 6,000 hectares with over 50 different lakes and lagoons of different colors, going from deep green to turquoise blue. Definitely a magical experience, especially a boat tour on one of the Mayan boats. And going back to Comitán, the last thing that I want to tell you about is the museum home of Rosario Castellanos, which is the house where she grew up and also an homage to her life and work. Rosario Castellanos was a writer, poet, and diplomat who lived from 1925 to 1974. She was one of the most important women in the Latin American literature scene of her times, a passionate defender of women and indigenous groups' rights, as it was perfectly captured in her novel Balún Canán, or in a compilation of her poems, Poesía no eres tú, Poetry is not you. Another famous poet from Chiapas, but from the capital city Tuxtla Gutiérrez, is Jaime Sabines, one of my favorite poets. He was born in 1926 and he left us in 1999. His poetry was very different, and probably one of his most famous poem books is Los Amorosos, Cartas a Chepita, The Loving Ones, Letters to Chepita. As you can see, Chiapas has a lot of poets, but not only the kind that writes about it, also the ones who sings about it. Like, for example, Rayleigh Barba, a singer-songwriter from Juárez, Chiapas. He started his career in 2001 as the lead singer of the group Elefante, and in 2004 he decided to continue his career as a soloist. And another famous musician, also from Chiapas, but this time from La Concordia, is Julián Álvarez. While Rayleigh sings ballads, Julián Álvarez and his Norteño Banda focuses on the Mexican regional music. He started his career in 2007 in Mazatlan, going from band to band, until he finally founded his own in 2007. Speaking about music, there is a particular style of music that is identified immediately as from Chiapas: marimba. Marimba is a percussion instrument similar to a xylophone, but with resonators under each wooden plank to amplify the sound. Due to its versatility, it has created its own style in music in Chiapas, going from sones to covers of other styles of music. You will usually see one or two marimbas accompanied by a drums, bass, or a trumpet. Travel to Chiapas by plane, most likely you will arrive to its capital city, Tuxtla Gutiérrez. While staying there, make sure to visit the Marimba Park, where every day at 6 p.m. you will have the marimba playing and you will get the chance to listen to the music and dance to it. And you can also visit the Marimba Museum, where you will learn about the history of this instrument in the region. Marimba is also popular in Tabasco, Veracruz, and all of the South in general. And here in Tuxtla, you have another worthy botanical garden, the Faustino Miranda's one, where you will find a vast collection of plants and trees, even living fossils. The San Marcos Cathedral is also a required stop, with a very simple white facade and tastefully decorated interiors. It is very contrasting with the Baroque style that is dominant in the rest of the country. And also make sure to visit the Miguel Ángel del Toro's Zoo, as the concept is very different, showcasing only regional species, many of which are actually in danger of extinction. But the interesting part is that most of them are in open spaces, meaning that they are not caged. As an animal lover, I find that super appealing. It's almost like being in the middle of the actual Lacandona jungle. Although, if you prefer the real deal, there are many things that you can do in there. The Lacandona jungle is an over 950,000 hectares of tropical rainforest that makes 13% of the Chiapas territory, home of about 200 indigenous communities. Inside of the Lacandona jungle, you can find several ecoparks, being the biggest and probably the most important one, the Biosphere Reserve of Montes Azules, where it is believed that 20% of Mexico's biodiversity is located. You can also visit the ecoparks Las Nubes, Las Guacamayas, or Topche, being this last one run by an actual Mayan family. Or you can simply hire one of the many tour options that can take you trekking, rafting, visiting a Mayan community, and show you the lifestyle of the people of the jungle. There are many options. Some of them can take you to the Lacandona jungle even for a few days, so that you can sleep with the jungle's night sounds. Now we're getting closer to my favorite part of the video, but first we need to talk about the things that you can drink. And we will be starting with an ancient pre-Hispanic drink, pozol. Not to be mistaken with pozole, which is a soup. Pozole is a refreshing drink made of corn dough and cacao beans. It is originally served without sugar and cold. Another interesting drink made also with cacao and corn is tascalate. You can buy the powder to prepare it at home directly, or you can make it yourself by roasting in a comal cacao, corn, cinnamon, achiote, and sugar. After that, you grind them to a powder and mix it with cold water. Both of them, besides being super refreshing and delicious, they are also very nourishing. And we are closing the drink section with a famous star drink, coffee. In Chiapas, you will find one of the two coffee productions in Mexico that had been protected by a designation of origin, Chiapas and Veracruz. The internationally famous Coffea arabica coffee beans are grown in different regions of the state, attracting coffee lovers from all over the world. La Ruta del Café, the coffee route, gives you the chance of visiting 5 of the Hacienda Cafetaleras. Now let's start with my favorite part of the video, food. As we have already mentioned in Baja California's video, tamales are very popular all over the country. But in Chiapas, the variety is so big that I cannot mention only one. Different combinations and flavors can be found in different regions of the state, like for example, toro pinto, momo, bola, cambray, patio, and chipilín, just to name a few. Some of them have meat, and there are many options that are actually vegetarian, as well as a few sweet ones. Chipilín is a very commonly eaten plant in Chiapas. For example, in a dish called chipilín con bolitas, which is a soup made basically with chipilín leaves, corn, and corn dough. And speaking about soups, there is another very popular one from San Cristóbal de las Casas, sopa de pan, the bread soup. For this you will need sliced bread, thyme, raisins, plantain, boiled eggs, carrots, and zucchini. Other versions might include extra ingredients like peas, potatoes, corn, and saffron. Especially during the winter in San Cristobal when the weather is a little bit coldish, a soup like this is super comforting. And finally, we have a seasonal dish. From Comitán de Domínguez, we have cochito horneado, which is pork baked with a special sauce and some aromatic herbs. It is served with fried beans and a very simple salad. Although it's a seasonal dish that you might find during the big party in January, you might also find it in special occasions, such as weddings, quinceañeras, and baptisms. As I said before, Chiapas is one of my favorite states in the country. It has so much culture, such beautiful natural places, delicious food, and beautiful traditional clothing. I am just fascinated by it. I am very happy to report that it's not only one of my favorites, but it's also one of the international tourism favorite places to visit in Mexico. And I couldn't be more proud of it. But there are many other states with many other beautiful things to see and do, and also delicious food to taste, which makes it very important for me to continue with this Mexico Piece by Piece series. Next time I will show you Chihuahua. If you are enjoying this series, let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. That will help me to reach more people and show them how amazing Mexico is. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to click the bell to receive notifications so that you can see the first one to see my next video. As usual, thank you so much for watching, and see you next week.